but you should chip in as well.
Yeah.
Like, and you. Like, we all
Sitting together.
collaborate. What collaborative governance, right? What is it?
那个
自己有
你是说那个
合作。
我们的
那个语言稿，这
yeah
个太难了，我真的记不了，我都一样的字在一起，哎，
协力 or like something.
这个吗？哎，这个吗？手册前面这个吗？
Oh my god.
这个吗？
协力治
治
理
协力治理。
collaborative governance is what I came up with.
嗯
I mean, it makes sense.
You know, I was supposed to design the passage like intercollected, you know, but now I decide to put them separated. Chinese one passage, English one complete.
Like
passage.
on the complete
So
thing.
so they won't if I put it here, they will see, oh, the first word is this one, but you didn't put the first word here. Somebody would,
But it doesn't matter because
well,
it's the same
somebody
content.
would matter. I don't know, but I'll put it separate.
But like instead of being on the front, it's at the back.
I mean, this page will be all Chinese. This will be
Yeah.
all English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it recording already?
Yeah.
Oh! Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. Should I speak to the camera like they're listening or like
No, we
just
just.
natural? Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to National Taiwan
Wait,
Museum.
it's not natural at all.
Oh no!
Okay.
Hello everyone. No.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Sorry.
So today will be our walking tour of the National Taiwan Museum and the 228 Memorial Park. So before we start, we would like to announce that we are hosting a lot of activities in this museum. So if you can take any photographs of the museum or of the park, you can upload them to Instagram with the hashtag NTM tour or to Facebook with the same hashtag, and we will post them on our website and maybe you can become famous. So, first of all, you should know that this is the oldest museum in Taiwan. It was established in 1908. Although this wasn't the original location of the building, the original location was actually in the lottery building. Just to drop it there.
Okay.
And then like afterwards, if they remember, then they can use that. In the lottery building, this building was built in 1915 and blah 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 blah. To celebrate. Yeah, well they know.
Okay.
What
Okay,
they know the script.
Okay.
So why was it founded? To celebrate colonial achievements. There was two founders, Kodama Gentaro, who didn't want Taiwan to be sold to France, and Goto Shinpei, who established the biological principle to rule over the people of Taiwan, because he thought that Taiwanese people and Japanese people were very different from each other, like flounders and
The other kind of fish.
the other kind of normal fish. So they had to so he thought that this was a good way to get them in order, because at the beginning of the Japanese colonial period there was a lot of disorder and all that kind of stuff. So in the museum we can still see the family crest of both of these people. Can you see where they are? Where are they? No. Well, one of them is actually very hidden away in the lamps. So this is the family emblem of the Kodama Gentaro, and it's composed of a fan, which is a symbol of military families, and gentian leaves, which is a symbol for his family. And then on the other side of the lamp, we see the symbol for Goto Shinpei, which is a line. And you also see that in the stained glass at the top and stuff. Then in the center of the floor that we're standing on right now is not actually the original flooring. The original flooring would look like this, and there was even more symbolism, including it's not osmanthus flower. Chrysanthemum flower. I always say osmanthus. The chrysanthemum flower, which was a symbol of the prince of the imperial family with 8 petals, but right now it's
Imperial
not
family
here.
with 16 petals, and
the Governor General of
office
Colonials
8 petals.
because it's a rank below.
Yep.
But the flooring is not here. We don't know if it's because of the nationalists wanted to take away the
We don't know if
symbolism,
it's
or maybe
covered
it was covered, or maybe it was just worn out. So now we go out. Now we're outside the main building. So we talked about the architecture, how it's like normal that Echidan, why it was built in Western style, because it was during the Meiji Restoration period, and Western styles were seen as the modern style to do and how to get a modern nation. The location of the memorial hall, then memorial hall within the city, was also very important because it copies the structure in Tokyo. So in front of the, do you know what is at the end of this road? Taipei Main Station. Yeah, well right now there's nothing at the end of this road, but like before there used to be Taipei Main Station. This is one of the most important roads in the entire city because it's the same as in Tokyo. So in front of the Tokyo train station you have the Imperial Family Gardens and residence, and the line connecting both of these places is the most important road in Tokyo. Well, it's the same thing in Taiwan. We're also standing in a tropical garden, and something that the Japanese government wanted to do was to make Taiwan look like a very exotic place to come. So they have a lot of non-native plants in this garden. So you have all these palm trees and all these tropical things to make it look like it's exotic. This was also the location for many events all through history. So here we see the prince going up the stairs. Is the one in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And because back in the day, like most people could not go through these stairs, they had to go around the side of the building, but he was a very special visitor, so obviously he could go in. And outside there was many photographs taken because it was such an iconic building in Taipei City.
Yeah.
So here we see like the Zhongshan Girls High School taking a group picture here, or like even the curators of the museum on the stairs, and we even have cool photographs of people standing on the stairs. So maybe if you want to take a photo like this and upload it to Instagram or Facebook, please feel free to do so. Now we're going to take a look at the reason why this building was built, and it was because of advancements in train engineering. So we talk about the Tongyun Express, which is here in this photo, and we talk about the Tongyun Express being really bad because it was very slow actually. Anyway, so now
basically what we talk about, like
basically this first part is what we talk about during the 20 to 30 minute tour.
Mm-hmm.
So just do that. So then afterwards we walk towards the pond. To the Japanese pond. And while we're going there, because we're going to walk all the way from the train to the radio station building. So while we're walking from there to there, we will stop at the Japanese pond and show them that parks were actually a symbol of modernization and was a complete change in urban design, because they didn't used to have any public spaces to have some leisurely activity. So before there used to be a temple, the goddess temple, which was actually no longer used as a temple, and it was used as a hospital. So the Japanese government used an opportunity that they had after it was destroyed, after it was damaged by a typhoon, to tear it down and extend the park. Because initially the park was only going to be in the southern half of this block, which you can see here. It was only going to be in the southern half, but then it was extended to the entire park. So then they had to add a lot of additions. One of the additions is this pond right here, which was a very popular spot. Oh, I connected the other way around.
Yeah.
Which was a very popular spot for photographs. So here we see the original bridge, and on top we see some women wearing kimonos. This was
another.
Yes.
The pond, the fountain, and the museum are in the same project. So when they
the Western Fountain.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Western Fountain.
The Western
So
Fountain
when they
and
built the
Japanese
museum,
pond, yeah.
the pond and the Western Fountain are like affiliation to the park. So they also built the balconies open to the south, because the southern part of the park was completed. So they were able to see the scenery
beautiful
of modern
landscape.
space scenery.
And then so this was such a huge symbol for Taipei that the Railway Bureau also like decided to take photographs here to put on the timetables, so as to promote the image of like a very safe and prosperous
Yes.
society.
Yes.
So in summertime we have these ladies wearing teepows, to represent like the multicultural society of Taiwan. So like you have this very exotic, yeah, for Japanese people, and then in winter time you have this thing that Japanese values are still there. So girls are wearing kimonos. So now we start walking towards the radio station, and we talk about how it was a very modern park. So here we see an image of like what the park might have looked like back then. We see that this is like landscape from the balcony. So we see the landscape gardens and fountain, and then we also have a music stage, which is a very we're all of this we're walking. Well, while you go past the thing, you can mention it and show the photos. And then, so the music stage was also very European. Initially, right now it's very modern, but like it went through many stages of development. If you have time, you can. These are actually. You can flip through the different stages.
There are different generations of the stage, the amphitheater.
So, because initially this one was very heavy, so it collapsed during an earthquake, and then they decided to make a lighter one without the roof. And then it was a permanent, like the big stage, and now it's the thing that we have now. I'll put this on later. So now we're at the 228 Museum. So the 228 Museum used to be the Taipei Broadcast Station. And this is a good example of how ideology reflects on architecture of the cities, because this was in the later Japanese colonial period. In the initial Japanese colonial period, all the buildings were very Western, and so now we see like a projection of these Western values in favor of a more Asian style of architecture. So we see the roof here of these hipped roofs, which are very Chinese, although there's still some Western influence, like the Spanish architecture. Eventually, as it was converted to a museum, a lot of additions were made. So like the two sides are actually additions, and the main building is the one in the center. And then maybe here you can start saying, and since we're on the topic of the 228 incident, you know from class that but they're not going to do it for class, right?
Yeah, do it for class.
Well, anyway, now is when we would like start talking about the 228 incident, what it was, how it happened, and then after you have like the general historical introduction, we would go to the monuments, to the 228 monuments. So initially, the 228 monument is also a good example of how public space and authority interact with each other. So during the Japanese period, there was a statue of Goto Shinpei right in the middle of the park. But then it was taken down during the KMT period and turned into Clock Tower, which was a donation actually from somewhere. There are also other statues in the park that also reflected this authority initially. So in the middle of the park, you had a statue of Goto Shinpei. In the southern part, you had Kodama Gentaro, and in the north part, you have a statue of Yogai Katsuyoshi, which we will talk about later. Yagyu. But right now, we have the 228 memorial monument, which is a symbol of the transitional justice in a democratic Taiwan.
Does the class know about the monument? The structure of the monument,
Yeah.
like the 4 cubes representing, so you don't know.
But maybe, because that's why I was thinking maybe we could add some of the other ones.
As long as you have time.
Yeah,
you
depending.
won't have time.
Like if we're like maybe 30 minutes in, then maybe we can.
Yeah, but if you are talking to the general public, you should mention
definitely
the structure and meaning.
So the 4 cubes is like the different ethnicities. So you have Taiwanese, Aboriginal, Mainlander, and Japanese.
Hakka.
Right?
Hakka and
Hakka
Hokkien. I don't know.
Hoklo people.
I mean that.
Yeah.
And
Like the Hakka, the Hoklo, the Thai.
The Mainlander
and the Aboriginal.
Yes, indigenous.
Is it Aboriginal or indigenous?
Well, we use indigenous.
Indigenous peoples.
Yes.
I think in the Go I wrote Aboriginal. In the thing. I think I wrote Aboriginal. So maybe we should change it.
Okay.
Anyway. So, and then they're all balanced and like that's how they put together society. So yeah, so we can see that government really influences things because there used to be a statue of Kodama Gentaro, which he actually never got to see because it was inaugurated in October, but he died in July, and it was made of marble imported from England, from Italy. And there was also a statue, during the nationalist government, there was also the emergence of another statue of this American person called Claire Lee. Claire Lee Chenault, which was eventually taken away from here because he was a very good friend. He was very good friends with Chiang Kai-shek and helped him to defeat his political opponent. So he had the statue put in his honor, but then it was moved to Songshan because he was a pilot, and then it was later moved to Hualien. And then now we are walking towards the radio tower. So we talked about how the radio booth was a very modern feature for the park, and it was where public life happened because people would gather there. You needed to have a radio license at home, so that maybe we would just go to the park to listen to the radio anyway. And there's a very important place because this is where many people heard of the surrender of the Japanese emperor to the Allied forces at the end of World War II. Then we moved to the fountain, and we have this image of the fountain. And
Hi.
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 Hi. 好，继续。
So we have the fountain here, which shows that, which is a very important feature. I'm like really.
Continue. Don't worry.
It was a very European feature, but like it's a very important place for the LGBT community. So the fountain and the park is a very important place for the LGBT community in Taiwan because this is where people used to gather, where homosexual men used to gather to have like secret encounters in the bushes or where they would meet and actually have secret meetings. Even now, the park still has like a very strong link to the LGBT community, and this is actually where the gay pride parade starts every year. Now we are moving on to the pavilions. So the pavilions used to be a public space to play sports or to take your take your children on a day trip, and maybe you would also have some installations, some temporary installations set up there made up of wood. And this is a very cool photo because you see that the museum in the background is made of stone, so it wasn't. It's like permanent. It's like eternal, but like this is just temporary. In fact, most of the wood of these kinds of stands, they would be recycled into other conventions and other booths and stuff like that. But when the refugees came over with the KMT in 1949, there was many problems in this area because there was a lot of homeless people, as not everyone had access to housing.
Yeah.
So a lot of homeless people would gather here, and maybe there would be some unruly behavior. And so the mayor of Taipei was not very happy about this, and he decided to have a tribute to China because he wasn't, because at the time there was also the Cultural Revolution happening in mainland China, and so they wanted to kind of protect this Chinese culture, and they built these 4 pavilions. The 4 pavilions on the sides and then one in the center, each being in an honor. No, how do we say that? Each commemorating a different hero of Chinese
Their
history,
Chinese culture.
of their Chinese culture, yeah. And this also shows how the progress of synodization happened in the park. So you have all these pagodas and synodization.
Synodization. What does that mean?
Changing things into Chinese-ifying things. Synodization. Synodization.
Oh, you mean Sino?
Yeah.
So 中国话。
Oh,
Yeah, 中国话.
SINO.
To
Okay.
synthesize.
Okay.
So you make things to look more Chinese, so that you would have all these beautiful photographs of the pagodas, and you could see that Chinese culture was strong here in Taiwan upon this like background of Japanese architecture. So then you could always frame photos from the perspective of the Chinese culture, and this is also something that happened in other places. For example, the presidential palace, there was a small pagoda in front of it so that many photographers could just take a photo from that, and would have the Chinese pagoda first, and then in the background you would have the Japanese architecture. Then from here we move on to the statue of
Yagyu Katsuyoshi.
Yagyu Katsuyoshi, which is now a Confucius statue. But initially, this was a very important figure in Taiwan because he was the president of the Bank of Taiwan for over 15 years, and he opened branches in the southern area, of Taiwan or Asia.
Southeast areas.
In the Southeast Asia areas.
Southeast Asian.
Contributing to this policy of the Meiji time. Southward policy.
Expansion policy. 南进政策. Southward expansion policy.
Southward expansion policy. He actually was the president of the Bank of Taiwan for longer than Goto Shinpei and Kodama Gentaro were of Taiwan. So we used to have this engraving at the bottom where he was like the lighthouse that you see here to the left, guiding the ship through the stormy seas because it was a very stable institution, I guess. But nowadays, it's a statue of Confucius, also in this process of sanitization of Taiwan. This statue is actually designed by the pupil of Chen Zhenpo, whose name is Pu Tiansheng. And then here we would go back to the main square in front of the museum. Like this is more or less the history of the park. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them later. But right now, we're going to move to the land bank. This is because the National Taiwan Museum actually has several buildings in the city, including this main building that we just visited. Then we have Nanmen Park, the land bank, and then in the future we will also be opening another branch in the Railway Bureau in a few years. So we aim to have this multi like what's the
National
word?
Taiwan Museum System.
The National Taiwan Museum System.
Yeah.
So each of the buildings will host different topics.
Yeah.
And so right now we will be going to the land bank and head over to Phaedra.
So if it's for public, we will take the bus.
To Nanmen Park.
Yeah, while waiting for the bus, you can talk a little bit more about the National Taiwan Museum System. And when we are on the bus, we can talk about, for example, at your left side, that is the NTU hospital station, and you can see the old building of the NTU hospital.
Which is also Japanese period.
Yes, and also then you will see the Taipei Guest House. And then at your right hand side, you will see the presidential office. And then to the little park of Chiang Kai-shek. You know, and then to Girls First Senior High School and the Weather Bureau. Yeah, the Weather Bureau. And then the Postal School. And then to the Monopoly Bureau, and you get off the bus. Maybe you can talk about a little bit more about the Monopoly Bureau, maybe for 3 or 5 minutes, and then we cross the street and into Nanmen Park. Yes. Okay.
Great.
Yay!